Hello. I want to go over how I set up Draftsight to print multiple sheets into a single PDF file. Draftsight has this functionality where you can print multiple sheets. So that's what I use, and then I configure my sheets and my model space, and that can be a little tricky to get it to work correctly. So I'll just do an example for a 11 by 17 sheet here. And I'll make a few of these sheets. So I'll set up my model space, and then I'll set up the print configuration. And I'll show you how I set it up so that it works. So this rectangle represents my actual paper. It'll be 11 by 17, and then normally I'd have some sort of margin, and then my drawing inside, and some sort of template that I'm using. And once I have all of that set up, I'll just call this sheet 1. Sure. I would copy it for the amount of sheets that I'm going to need. So I'll just do three of these as an example, and I would do this for however many sheets I was going to use. And to set up the paper space, do this with a print configuration, and I'm going to create a new one. Yeah, it's going to be 11 by 17. Spinny wheel. And so this is going to be PDF, is the plotter I'm using. This is going to be 17 by 11. No margins, since I've used my own model space margin. And this is kind of important to get the origin of the paper and the print to work correctly. So you have to do that for the page you're using, for the size of the page you're using. Orientation is this way. Okay. One thing I usually do is I print in black and white, and Draftsight's not configured to do that by default. To do that, you have to do these additional options and change the print style table. And there isn't one for black and white, so I make one black. So I select every color and change it to black. So now any color will print in black, and you have to click this, use assigned print styles. Okay. So I think this is good. My 11 by 17, my origin's at the corner of the paper, and next I need to get my viewport to be the same size as this. So I do that here using the properties, 11 by 17, and I want to match it up pretty close with the paper. And to get it exact, you just use these 8.5, 5.5, 4, and 11 by 17. So these are just the center of the rectangle, so that makes sense for an 11 by 17. So yeah, the rectangle's center, so x 8.5 because it's 17 over, and then 5.5 up because it's 11 total. Okay, next I want to line up my actual paper with my paper space outline here. So to do that, I select the outside border, and I zoom, nope, not zoom to fit, zoom to selected, and that centers my viewport onto the first sheet. And then I want to fix the scale. Right now it's 0.9804. I want to fix it to 1:1, and that sets that. So now I have my paper space is perfectly aligned with my model space, and I want to do this for 3 sheets. I'm not going to use this one, and I want to copy this. So I've set this one up correctly, so just so I don't have to duplicate all that work for the other sheets, I copy them. So I'm going to have 3 sheets. It's going to be sheet 2. It's going to be sheet 3. And if you're going to go above 9, use the leading 0. So for page 1 would be 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, and so on. Otherwise, the order that they print messes up. And now you have to change these so that they're looking at the correct sheets. So that's zoom selected and change it to 1:1. Do the same for sheet 3. And so on for the amount of sheets you're going to have. And once I have this set up like this, I would usually save this. Would save this as a template so I never have to go through and reconfigure this again. I would just use my template 11 by 17 template. Okay, yeah, let me change the color of this before I print it just to show that. So I'll go into the print. I'll select all of my sheets, create a single file, create a single PDF, and click OK. Example PDF. And okay, there's my 3 pages in black and white. And that's how I set this up. I like that it's 1:1. If you're gonna use like a 2:1 or a 3:1, I usually just use the scale command and scale this up if I'm gonna use a 2:1 or a 10:1 or something like that. And then obviously you have to come back into the sheet and redo this so it lines back up. So zoom selected. And now I'm going to be, what did I do? I did 3:1. It's probably a bad choice. Guess I can make a custom one. Let's just do 4:1. Scale factor of 4. So zoom selected, 4:1. Now this scale is 4:1. Okay, that's how I do multiple sheets in Draftsight.